Hi, welcome, welcome. This is our hand and dexterity exercise class session 1. Welcome everyone. Hopefully you can hear me and you can see me okay. I do have some construction outside of my window right now, so I'm hoping that you can't hear it because I got these headphones in. But if you do, I apologize and I hope it's not too distracting. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining. Okay, so our hand and dexterity class today is recorded. So if anybody wants to review the recording at a later date, practice any of the exercises, you're of course welcome to do so. The recording should be uploaded to our YouTube channel, which is Parkinson Society BC, all in one word, in about a week's time. So by this time next week, by the next class, it should be uploaded onto the YouTube channel if you did want to review anything. So things you're going to need today, I assume you probably already read the description of the class, so you might know already, but we need a tea towel of some kind. So I've got a tea towel here. You need a cushion of some kind, ideally something small. And I've got 2 paper cups here that I'm using. So you need 2 cups that you can use without handles, ideally 2 cups. And for next time, so not today, for next week, you're going to need some kind of pegs or clips of some sort. You're going to need about 5 to 6 of these for next time, not today, next time. And you're also going to be needing line paper with margins already drawn onto them for next time, not today. So I'm telling you for next time, you need 5 to 6 pegs or clips, and you're going to need your line paper. So you can see it's normal line paper, and I've just drawn margins on them. So I've made the margin much bigger, so you can see one margin is now that big instead of that one line. It's now much bigger. So you need margins. I put 1, 2, 3, 4 lines into one margin. So you're going to need a piece of paper with margins on it for next time as well. Okay, so not today. Today you just need tea towel, 2 cups without handles, and a cushion, and that's it. Okay, I will remind you about what you need next time as well. Let's get started. I'm going to move back a tiny bit here. So we're going to sit up nice and tall because it is a hand and dexterity class. We're going to be seated. I'm in a wheelie chair, but ideally you want to be in a stationary chair that won't tip and fall, and ideally no arms on the chair as well. Okay, just so you don't hit anything. Okay, we're going to sit forward in our chair. So from the side, you can see I'm sitting nice and tall. I'm not leaning back into my chair. I'm sitting tall at the front of the chair. And we're going to start with some shoulder rolls. We're rolling those shoulders back. We're going to do a bit of upper limb warm up before we get into the hand dexterity portion. Nice big rolls with those shoulders. Sitting up nice and tall at the front of your seat. And then we're going to add in circles with the elbows. Still sitting up nice and tall, no leaning back. You can see that without armrest, much easier. And then we're going to do the full arm circle now, the entire arm moving in a circle. If you can't go up that high, that's okay. You can go a little bit lower. That's absolutely fine as well. Big circles. And then we're going to switch directions. If you went backwards a second ago, you're going to go forwards. Remember, if you can't do it that big, down here is okay as well. Forward circles. And then back to the elbows going forward. And then the shoulders rolling forward. And then we're going to clasp our hands together. We're going to draw a big figure of 8 with those wrists, with the hands clasped together, warming up those wrists. Big figure of 8. Good. And then we're going to take one arm, bring it out in front of us. We're going to just do some sensory bits here. We're going to start at tips of the finger, and we're going to do gentle pats up our arm. Gentle taps. We're not smacking our arm. Gentle taps up and down the back of our arm here. Wake up those nerve endings, wake up those senses. All the way up towards the shoulder, all the way down the back of the arm. Don't forget the fingers. Nice light taps. Doesn't have to be fast. Could be slower. Up to you. Nice light taps. And then we're going to flip that hand over to the other side and do the exact same thing. Nice light taps. All the way up the arm towards the shoulder. And then down again. Flipping it over again. This time we're squeezing up our arm. Little squeezes up our arm from the fingertips all the way up to the shoulders, almost like you're giving yourself a little bit of a massage, all the way down the arm, getting every bit of the arm you possibly can, even the thumbs, the fingers, all the way back up. And then we're going to switch sides. Other side, starting with our taps. All the way up from the fingertips to the shoulder and back down again. Nice light taps. Remember, we're not hitting the arm too hard. Nice light taps. Wake up those nerve endings. Get the sensation going in the arm, drawing attention to the arm. And then we're going to flip the arm over, exactly the same thing, tapping the entire length of the arm from the fingertips all the way up to the shoulders. Nicely done. And then we're going to flip the hand over again, this time squeezing up the arm. So nice gentle squeezes, getting every portion of the arm, waking up those nerve endings, getting ready for this Canon Dexterity class. Nicely done. Welcome to those who have just joined in. You haven't missed much. Jump right in when you can. Trying to get every bit of your skin, your fingers, your palm, your thumbs. Nicely done. Good. And rest here. I'm going to come a little closer. We're now going to warm up those fingers here. We're going to squeeze the hand into a fist. And then we're going to open the hand nice and wide as you can possibly go. Really stretch out the palms, stretch out those fingers. And again, squeezing in and opening. Remember, we're not doing this fast. We're just warming up the hand, getting used to this opening movement and this closing movement. Keep going a few more times in your own time, opening and closing. Feel that skin stretch. Nicely done. Let's do one more. Okay, and then we're going to warm up the arms with this. So we're going to bring our hands in towards our armpits, into fists like so. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to push the arms out as wide as you can. And then you're going to close them into fists and pull them back in again. Okay, so we're doing a push, a pull, a push, and a pull. So I want you to imagine as you're doing this movement that you're almost like you're sitting in jello. Your entire body is submerged in jello, and there's a lot of resistance. So you gotta put in a bit more effort to really push, spread those fingers nice and wide, and really pull towards you. Nicely done. Spread those fingers. Imagine there's actually something you're pushing away and you're pulling towards you. 3 more. 3. And pull. 2. And pull. Last 1. And pull. And shake out the arms, shake out the hands. Okay, I'm going to come forward now. So hopefully you're a little warmer. We're going to start with our hand dexterity class. So I've got a table in front of me. I know you can't quite see, but you can see I have a table in front of me here that I'm using for the class, mostly because I want to rest my elbows on the table when we're doing some hand dexterity stuff. You don't have to. By all means, you're welcome to just keep your arms lifted if you like. But it might be a little bit easier with the table there, just so that way you're not getting too tired with your arms. Okay, so we're going to start with some basic hand dexterity exercise today, just to kind of get you introduced to the hand and dexterity class. We're going to start with the hands wide open, the palms open, the fingers splayed. So not like this, like that, okay? So you want to stretch out all the fingers, the palms, stretch out all the skin you've got on your hand. And what we're going to do here is with the hand wide open, we're going to touch the tip of our index finger to our thumb without the other fingers moving. Let me do that again. So you're tapping the end of the index finger to the thumb and you're opening. What you don't want to see is this, right? We don't want all the fingers coming in or some fingers coming in. We want them all to be as stationary as possible. And you're tapping the index finger to the thumb, open wide back up, okay? So not like this, open as wide as you can. Then we're gonna do the middle finger to the thumb and open as wide as you can. Stretch out the fingers, stretch out the palm. And then the ring finger, keep them open, keep the fingers open and spread. Very good. Then the little finger, keep the other fingers open. This might be the hardest one. They will move a little bit, but keep them there if you can. And open back up. Then we're going to do the same thing in reverse. Little finger to the thumb. Keep the fingers open. And open all the way back up. Very nice. Ring finger to thumb. Open back up. Middle finger to thumb. Keep the fingers open. Keep them wide. Open back up. Now index finger to thumb and open back up. Okay, keep going in your own time. Nobody should be doing this. No one should be going fast and have the fingers be small. I would like you to move as big as you can. Stretch out as big as you can. Keep all the fingertips pointing up at the ceiling if you can. So don't add speed until you can do this well. So until you've got all the wide, big amplitude positions, don't add speed. So no one should be going like that, okay? Go nice and slow. Only when you've got the movement, the technique down, then can you add speed. But that's not today, okay? So keep going. Open those fingers nice and wide. Make sure your thumb opens back up. Don't let your thumb stay here. Open back up every time. Nicely done. Hopefully you can't hear that construction outside my window because it's very loud. Keep going. The ends of your fingers touching the thumb. Make sure your thumb opens back out flat, okay? Keep going. Make sure you reverse as well. Stretch out the fingers as wide as you can, as wide as you can. Stretch the fingers. I want to see every line on your skin. Nicely done. Keep it up. How are we doing? You can't hear construction. Good, I'm glad. From my end, it's lots of loud drilling, but I guess the headphones work, so that's good. Keep going. Keep the fingers pointing up at the ceiling. Try not to let the fingers curl in. Okay, have a rest. Shake out the hand. You can give yourself a little rub on your hand if you need, if it's feeling a little sore. We're going to move on to our second exercise. So as we go on in our class today, you'll probably notice that some of these exercises you've seen before if you've done our hand dexterity class. And that's absolutely fine because we're starting with the basics and we're going to build up for the rest of the week. Okay, I want you to squeeze your fingers together, flatten your hand. So from the side, you can see it's not cupped, it's not bent in, it's flat, okay? So fingers all sticking in. Imagine I've glued all your fingers together, but it's flat. So almost like you press your hand up against the shop window and you're looking in the shop window. So you want it to be flat. What we're going to do here, keeping the entire hand flat, we're going to open the first one space. So open up that first space there. And close. Make sure it's all squeezing in nice and flat. Now the second space is going to open, but all the other fingers are still glued together. Only this space is opening and close. Then the next space over is opening, but the rest of your hand is flat. We're not curling, we're not cupping, keeping it flat, in. Then the last space open, keep the hand flat and in. Then we're going to reverse the little finger and then the space between the middle and the ring finger. Notice my thumbs are not curling in, I'm keeping them flat. Then the space between the index and the middle finger, then the space between the thumb. So keep going on in your own time. So we're not going fast, right? Go slow. If this is really tough and you need some help, you are welcome to use a surface like a table because it's easier sliding your hands on a surface because you've got something underneath. So when you're pressing down, you actually can move a little bit easier. So if you prefer to do it on a table or on a wall, you're welcome to, okay? But if you don't need to, do it this way. This one's one of the harder ones. It's harder than it looks when you're trying to keep your hands flat the entire time and you're squeezing all of your fingers together except for the space that you're choosing to open. So from the side, you can see as I'm doing this movement, everything is flat. So I'm not turning the fingers in or the thumb in. Everything is very, very flat. How are we doing? I don't see any numbers dropping out, so that's good. You're still with me. You're not fed up with this class yet. Keep going. Keep the hand nice and flat. If you feel like one hand is weaker than the other, see if you can look from one hand to the other and try to match them, okay? Try to keep them as flat as you can. Don't let the thumbs curl in. Don't let the fingers curl in. Don't let them separate. Keep going. In your own time. Doesn't have to be fast. If your hands are tired, you are welcome to shake them out and come back to it. Because I know this one's a little bit tough. Finish whichever round you're on. And when you're finished, open and close your hands a few times, shake them out, rub them if they're feeling a little sore. And then we're going to move on to our next exercise. We're going to grab hold of our towel. So hopefully you've got a kitchen towel you can use. Mine is a little big, but that's okay. A kitchen towel of some kind, a dinner napkin, whatever you've got. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to sit back a little bit. You're going to hold on to the corner piece with one hand, making sure the towel is hanging down and you're holding on with just your index and your thumb. Your fingers are facing down. Okay, Keeping this position, you're going to use all your fingers and you're going to scrunch the towel up into your hand, into as small of a ball as you can, making sure you're using all the fingers, right? Not just 2 fingers, all the fingers as much as you can. When you can't scrunch up anymore in your hand, you can shake it out and restart the same hand, okay? So try to avoid doing this kind of motion where you're kind of throwing that fabric into your hand. We want it to be hanging down, so it's a little more challenging for you to scrunch up that scarf. If you really have issues, you're welcome to use your shirt to help, your hip to help, because having you rest on a surface is easier, because then the fabric will drop less. So if you're like this, you might find that as soon as you grab something, oh, then it drops down again, and then you're grabbing, and then oh, it drops down again. Whereas if you have it against something, it's a little easier. But ideally, if you are able to do it freehand like this, this is better. This is what you're working towards. But if you're finding it's impossible to scrunch the fabric into your hand this way, you're welcome to have it against your shirt, your hip, your lap, your table, whatever works for you. Remember, this is not about speed. Go at your own pace, holding the corner, and you're scrunching up. Check in with your posture. Are we still sitting up nice and tall? Or are we like this? I know, lots to think about. Let's do one more on this hand, one more scrunch, and then we'll switch hands. Remember to use all of your fingers, not just a few. Make sure none of your fingers are caught under the fabric either. And when you're finished, shake out your hand, rub it out if you need. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So you start with the corner piece. Hold on with your index and your thumb. The fabric hanging down, the hands hanging down as well. Remember, this is really tough. You're welcome to use a surface. For example, a table. You're welcome to use a surface, and you can scrunch up, you can see, using the table if you like, but you don't have to. Remember, it's not about speed. Go at your own pace. Try to keep the fingers facing down if you can, so it's harder because gravity's pulling the fabric down while you're trying to scrunch it up. Remember, if your hand gets tired, you're welcome to shake it out and then come right back into it if you can. Remember, try not to flip like this because we don't want to use gravity to then catch the fabric in your hand. No cheating. How are we doing? Hopefully good. A quiet chat box is always a good thing. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask in the chat box, or if you don't want to type, you are welcome to ask with your voice, in which case you'll have to just click on the raise hand function here. Let's do one more on this side. Wherever you are, one more. And shake it out, rub out your hand if you need, shake it out. Okay. We're still going to keep hold of our fabric here because the next exercise we're doing is a rolling exercise. So I'm going to tip the screen down so you can see. So here's the end of my fabric. Okay, so lay it onto a flat surface such as a table. And we're going to do some rolling. So we're starting at the end. And what we're going to do here, using both hands, we're going to start to roll the edge of the fabric up. So we're going to use our fingers to roll. And when we roll, if I come a little closer for a second, as we roll, you can see that I'm using my fingers to kind of push the fabric underneath, and then my thumb on top to then roll, and then I switch positions. Use my thumb and my fingers to sort of roll. Let me move that out again. And you want to roll the fabric as tightly as you possibly can. Try not to let it be loose. So you gotta coordinate all your fingers together to roll this fabric up. So you got your thumb and your fingers. I'm using my fingers to press the fabric down, my thumb to then roll it, and then my fingers down again. So roll the towel as small as you possibly can. Take your time. You don't have to do it fast. I'm just doing it to show you. And then when you get to the very end of your fabric, I want you to keep your hand flat. And then I want you to pull back to try to roll out the towel. And then again, straight hands, pull back. You're rolling the fabric out. Straight hand rolling back out. Nice, subtle, gentle movement. And then you try it again in the end. Rolling that fabric. So when we talk about hand dexterity, essentially what we're talking about is not necessarily your gross movements of being able to just open and close your hands, but it's the ability of your hands and your fingers to move independently from each other into a coordinated task, which then gets you your functional movement of things like folding, pulling, pushing, holding something, making something with your hands. So you want to practice these kind of movements that essentially get you to move your fingers separately from each other. So they're not always just opening and closing. Even that opening closing exercise is also good. You'll notice that we did separate finger movements because it's your ability to move your fingers by choice individually from each other, along with the strength to do that, is what's going to give you your hand dexterity function. Because any object we're holding on to, essentially what we're doing is we're conforming the shape of our hand and our fingers to fit the particular object that we're holding or rolling or pushing or whatever it is we're doing with that particular object. Even brushing your teeth as an example, you need to be able to have enough hand dexterity to move the toothbrush in all sorts of directions and with different varying strength in order to achieve the function of brushing your teeth, for example. So with hand dexterity, you want to be practicing exercises that forces you to use your hand and fingers in all sorts of different directions and being able to separate your fingers individually. Okay, I'm talking too much. Keep going. Rolling that fabric as small as you possibly can. Make sure you're not just stuck in the middle. Move out to the side too, right? Because you want all bits of the fabric to be tucked underneath. A lot of these movements, when you're looking at them, they look pretty easy, but then when you're doing them, you realize that it's actually a little bit challenging. Specifically that towel scrunchie one that we just did. That one always looks super easy, but then when you're doing it, it's actually pretty hard and you feel your hands sort of cramping up or getting pretty tired relatively easily. I bet if someone looked in, it looks like we're doing an arts and crafts class. Okay, remember when you're rolling out, hand flat, nice gentle pull with the fingers. So we're not grabbing, gentle pull with the hand. Gentle pull. One more, last one, and then we'll move on. We're probably sick of the towel by now. Last one, wherever you are, roll up that towel one more time and then roll it out afterwards. Remember to tuck it underneath so it's nice and snug with the roll. And then remember when you're at the end, feel the palm hand flat and you gently pull back with those arms onto your fingertips and then you go again. The table is not wide enough, so I have to keep removing or shuffling my position here. Okay, when you're done, you can put that towel away. Okay, we're gonna grab our 2 cups now. Our 2 cups. So I'm using paper cups. They're empty paper cups here. We're gonna stack them on top of each other. What you're gonna do, you're gonna hold on to it with one hand. With the other hand, you're grabbing only the rim of the top cup, only the rim of the top cup, and you're gonna lift out to the side, back in again, the rim of the cup, back in. Switch hands, rim of the cup, out, back in. Other side, rim of the cup, out, back in. Nice and simple, that's it. Switch hands, rim of the cup, out, back in. And you can use whatever fingers you feel comfortable doing. You're welcome to use index, middle, ring, little, whatever works for you. We're just practicing stacking for the moment. Relatively basic, just practicing this movement. So as we're lifting and placing the cup down, whether it's out to the side or restacking, we want to be very distinct with our movement. We don't want to set it down and then set it down and set it down again. We want it to be from point A directly to point B, and then directly back to point A, trying not to hit the edge of the rims, but you want to go straight to the middle and down. Rim of the cup, out, straight back into the middle. Try not to touch the rim of the cup, lift up, straight down the middle. Out to the side, straight down the middle. Out to the side, straight down to the middle. And you can take your time on this. Doesn't have to be a particular speed, just whatever works for you. You can even go over the top if you like, if that works out better for you. Any way you can, grabbing hold of the rim only if you can. Very distinct with where you're setting down the cup each time. Where you're setting down the cup each time. So with our class, with our hand and dexterity class, we have the next several weeks to do as much as we can. And so we will be progressing our exercises every week. So we're starting with basic things today, and we're going to be making them more challenging as the weeks go on. So if anything feels too easy, just bear with me, get the basics down, and then we will move on and progress them as the weeks go on, okay? Nicely done. Or equally, if it feels too tough, that's okay. It's absolutely fine. The classes are recorded. You're welcome to review them if you like at a later date. And just keep following along, keep turning up to class. You'll get better with practice. One more. Good. And then let's take 1 cup away. So we only have 1 cup that we're holding on to. So we're holding on to the cup. What we're going to do here, keep the elbow bent. So don't let it be straight. Keep it just a bit bent. Holding on to the cup. We're going to lift it and we're going to flip it down. So let me bring this down a little bit. Okay, so like this. So see how the cup is right way up. Hold on to it, flip it down, let go. Same thing. Hold on to it, flip it up. So we're flipping one direction only. So I'm flipping inwards right now. Flipping inwards. Let me do it slower. Flip it inwards. I'm turning in. I'm turning in. Flip it down. And again. So I'm going one direction only. I'm holding on to it the right way up with my thumb and index finger facing the top. And then I'm turning it down. Then again, thumb and index finger facing the top. Grab and turn. Grab and turn. You'll notice your elbow will come up because that movement is coming from the shoulder. And that's fine. But you'll probably notice as well that your forearm is twisted, and that's what we want. Ignore that letter I've got on the cup. That's for a different exercise. Keep going. You don't have to do it necessarily at speed, but I want you to be distinct with where you're landing the cup. So we're not going like this. We're trying to land it, open. Land it, open. Okay, stop here for a second. We're going to go the other way now. So we're holding onto the cup the same way, but instead of going in, we're going to go out. Switch the hand again. So thumb and index finger facing up, outwards. This one's a little harder because you're then twisting outwards. Outwards. The outwards might be a little bit more tough for most people. But you can move those elbows in. You can move the wrists. I gotta remember to keep looking at the camera here because I don't want my cup to be off screen because then you won't be able to see. Outwards. 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 So not in anymore, we're going outwards. Nicely done. How we doing? Let's do 4 more flips and then we'll switch hands. Okay, other side, other hand. Holding onto the cup. We're flipping inwards first, inwards. Hold on to the cup, flip inwards. Flip inwards. So your thumb, your index fingers are facing up, grab, flip inwards. Grab, flip inwards. Remember, it doesn't have to be at this speed. You're welcome to go slower if you like. We're going to try not to drag the hand on the table to flip. We're going to lift and flip. lift, and flip. And we're going to stop here for a second. You can shake out the hands if you need. We're going to grab hold of the cup again. This time, we're going outwards, like that. Outwards. This way, outwards. And then again, switch your hand again. So thumb and index facing up, outwards. So you'll feel that twist in the wrist, in the forearm. Nicely done. Check in with your posture. Are we like this? Or are we still sitting up nice and tall? Nicely done. Let's do 4 more in your own time. And when you're done, you can put the cups away. Okay, last exercise before we do a bit of a stretch. We're gonna hold on to our cushions here, grab hold of our pillow, and we're gonna hold on to the pillow like this. So let me go this way. So let me show you the front first. My fingers are together, and essentially I'm doing this kind of a grip, long finger grip. I'm bring my fingers together. You can see my thumb is long, so I'm not bending, right? I'm not bending. I'm keeping my fingers long, my thumb's long. So if I move the pillow away, it's like that, nice and long. I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to go grab at the top with that same long finger grip, grab at the top, grab at the bottom, grab at the bottom. Notice my fingers are squeezing in together. So if I move the pillow for a second, notice that my fingers are squeezing together nice and long. My thumb is nice and long too. It'll be like that. Almost like you're mimicking a crab in a way, the pincer kind of crab, the pincers of the crab, if that makes sense. Okay, fingers together, to the top, to the top, to the bottom, to the bottom. Keep the fingers together if you can. To the top, to the bottom, top, to the bottom. Keep those fingers together if you can. Try not to do this. Fingers long and together. Imagine you're like a crab. The pincers It just says here that my microphone's not working, but I hope you can hear me. I think my headphones just turned off, but let me see here. Yeah, hopefully you can hear me. Okay, perfect. I think that's better. Can you hear me now? I hope so. Yes, okay, great. Don't know what happened there. Okay, I think there's a hand up. There's a question. Okay, so the person with the hand up, Evelyn, I just turned on your mic, so you can unmute if you want to ask.
I was just telling you I could hear you. Sorry.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the class. It's great.
Sure, no problem. Okay, let's do our bit of a cool down. So we're gonna shake out the hand. You can stretch out the hand a little bit. we're going to grip our hands together like so, and then we're going to do our figure of eights that we did at the beginning again. So we're just going to do the big figure of eights. You don't have to do it fast. You're welcome to go slow. And we're just going to roll out those wrists a little bit, move the forearms a little bit. Nicely done. And then we're going to put our palms together, and we're going to lift our elbows to the side and slide the palm down towards our breastbone or even lower. So you can feel that stretch through the wrists here, and we're going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. This time, we're going to start at the bottom with the back of our hands together like this. And then we're going to drop the elbows down and bring the wrists up. So we're dropping the elbows down, bring the wrists up so you can feel the stretch on the other side there. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Now we're going to take our hand, keep the wrist nice and flat. So we're not moving the wrist, we're keeping the wrist where it is. We're moving the fingers back. So we're stretching the fingers back, but you can see my wrist not moving, wrist not moving. The fingers are going back like this, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming back up. Now the fingers going forward this time. You can press down, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Other side, same thing. Wrist not moving. Keep the wrist where it is. The fingers going back. I know it looks a bit awkward where I'm holding, but you can obviously hold on top, but I'm just going behind because I want you to see. So fingers going back, the wrist not moving. The wrist stays where it is. The fingers going back, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back up. The fingers going forward now. Pressing down, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and shake it out. Okay. Sitting up nice and tall, last little bit. We're going to bring our ear towards our shoulder to stretch out our neck a little bit. The other hand, you're going to drop down the side and try to grab hold of the bottom of your chair so that it gets pulled downwards. Keep the shoulder where it is. You're thinking ear to your shoulder. The other hand's going to come up and gently press down a little bit, gently, so we're not pulling. Gentle pressure to stretch the side of your neck, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back up. Other side, hand reaching down, ear to the shoulder. The same hand as the side your head's leaning toward. It's going to come up gently, applying a bit of pressure onto the head so that the ear goes down a little further. Holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back up. A few of these open and closes. Nice and gentle. We're not stretching out as far as we can. We're just moving the fingers a little bit. And you are done. Excellent. Okay, so for people who joined in a little bit later today, what I mentioned at the beginning was that you're going to need some pegs or some clips for next class. So just 5 or 6 of these. They don't have to be anything specific, just something that you can kind of use as a clip or a peg of some sort. Could be from a dollar store, could be something you already have. You just need 5 to 6 of these. And then we're also going to be doing some handwriting practice. So next time, you're going to need so I'm just using a normal lined piece of paper. So you can see it's a normal lined piece of paper. But what I did was I threw margins on them. So normally you can see a single line is this one, right? You can see the lines underneath. So what I did is I took 4 single lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I made them one big line. Can you see? That's my big margin. So I made 4 single lines into a big margin, and I put dashes in the middle of them to just help us with our dimensions when we do our handwriting practice next time, okay? So make sure you have this ready. So 2 homework items for you. Get some pegs that you have at home, 5 to 6 of these, and line pieces of paper that you can make 4 single lines into one giant margin for next time. Just one sheet for next time is good. And at the beginning of the next class and at the end, I will let you know what you need for the class following that in terms of setting up the handwriting margins, okay? So I know I threw a lot of exercises at you today, and it probably feels like you didn't have enough time to practice all of them, but that's okay. I wanted to get as much in as I could for the first class, so that way we can build on them, because we do only have 4 weeks for this hand dexterity series this time. I know usually they're a little bit longer. Usually they're 2 months or 2.5 months even, but this year we're only doing a month because in July next month I'm getting married, so I will be away. But yes, so I'm fitting in as much as I can for the 4 weeks. And so if you do need to have a look at the exercises again, you are welcome to go onto our Parkinson Society BC YouTube channel. Yeah, I will type it. So it's Parkinson Society BC, all in one word. If you search that on YouTube, you will be able to see the recording of the class, which will be uploaded next week. Okay, thank you, everybody. If you think of any questions, you're welcome to ask me either via email, or you can let me know next time as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for the first session of the hand dexterity class, and I will see you next week, same time, same place, and make sure you have your 5 to 6 pegs ready and your pre-drawn margins. Okay, see you then, everybody. Bye. Thank you. Thanks, Donna. Bye.